Welcome to the Brampton Valley Way guided tour. The purpose of this tour is to educate visitors about the Brampton Valley Way and its history, such as where the stations used to be and when they were built, as well as guiding you through what the linear park has to offer visitors. The Brampton Valley Way cycle and footpath are maintained by Northampton County Council, while the railway is maintained by Northampton and Lamport Heritage. The Brampton Valley Way is a 14-mile linear park which stretches to the outskirts of Northampton into Leicester near to Market Harborough. The railway was closed in 1981 and was purchased by Northampton County Council. From then, the aim was to develop it into a linear park. The Brampton Valley Way was opened for public access in 1993. Our tour starts at the local pub, the Windhover. This is the start of the track, which used to go directly into Northampton itself. Along the track are two locally famous pubs, the Windhover and the Brampton Halt. Usually regular walkers prefer to walk from one pub to the other for beverages. On the right hand of the pub is the Martin Moor Wood. This is Northampton County Council's wildlife responsibility. The wood was planted in January 2006, where thousands of trees were planted. This is just one of the places of nature that Northampton County Council have responsibility to. To the left of the pub is the start of the track at Boughton Crossing. As you can see, this is next to the railkeeper's house. Northampton and Lamport Railway own the 14-mile track, although there is a mile or so that goes into Leicester, but this is still maintained by Northampton and Lamport Railway, while Northampton County Council maintain the track and the cycle route. It was 1981 when the last commercial train ran along the track. After that, it was then pulled up by the British Rail and sold off. The Pitford siding signal box in the picture was constructed by London and North Western Railway in 1905. When British Rail Engineering no longer needed the signal box, Northampton and Lamport Railway purchased the signal box and reconstructed it here in 1992. Further along the track we come to Pitford and Brampton Station. Just the other side of the track is the locally famous pub, the Brampton Halt. The station opened in 1859. The station never really had that many passengers, although a special dock was built for loading sugar beet wagons. Then in 1950 the station was closed, but now the main feature along the Brampton Valley Way is this station. The track is often used most weekends and bank holidays. This is part of the Northampton and Lamport Railway. They run steam trains along the track for entertainment. As we lead up to the Merry Tom crossing, there are two bridges along the track. The first bridge was restored at the turn of the century to make it come this further north. It cost around £50,000 to complete, and the second bridge you come past on your way to Merry Tom crossing has been stripped of its structure, as it needs to be renovated before it will be able to have a train run on it again. It is Northampton and Lamport Railway that apply for the funding to help develop the track from the Heritage Lottery Fund. There is lots of competition from other railway societies, so getting funding is quite hard. As we go further down the Brampton Valley Way, we come to what was Spratton Station, which is now a car park and picnic area. Spratton Station, which was built and opened in 1964, was rather a busy station as it had 4 trains stopped daily at the station. As the traffic increased, the need for another track became necessary. The double track was opened in 1879. The station was then closed in 1949, 32 years before the Northampton to Market Harborough line closed. The Spratton line would have led on to Brixworth Station, which opened in 1859 and its passenger service stopped in 1960. It reopened for limited periods, then completely stopped operations in 1981. After the station was shut down, the station became a sawmill. To treat the wood, they used to use arsenic. This is what made the concrete green in the pictures. This is dangerous to people, so it was fenced off by Northampton County Council. Just up the path from the old Brixworth station is a gap in the hedge leading up to the hill. This is where the trams would have come down the track to bring iron ore to the railway. Directly opposite the entrance is the Brampton arm of the River Nen, which has over the years created Oxbow Lakes, which are natural nature attractions. Further down the track across the A508 is the old station house. This is where people that own the station would have lived. Just behind the old station house are a few cottages. This is where the rail workers would have stayed, as it was easy access. On the route where the track would have been, you can still see where the platform would have been northbound and southbound. When Northampton County Council brought this, it was a clear open area. This was because when the trains would go past, the grass had to be cut, because if a piece of hot coal or spark would fly off it, it would catch alight. This is the area of the former cottage garden. In the picture, the outline of the bricks would have been the foundation to the cottage that used to look after the railway. In the summer of 2012, Northampton County Council found hundreds of orchids hidden under the large tree amongst the flowers and plants. This is an ideal place for a picnic in the summer to see the wildlife and nature at its best. Just along from the former cottage garden is the only footbridge along the 14-mile Valleyway. Although it is unusable as it has no steps, Northampton and Lamport Railway are planning on purchasing it and restoring it to its working structure, then transporting it to Pitsford and Brampton Station so it can be used by walkers and bikers. As this track was not often that busy, the Royal Train with Her Majesty and Prince Philip could travel along it and stop here and stay the night and nobody would know. Past the former cottage garden and bridge is Kailmarsh Tunnel. The 480-metre tunnel is one of two tunnels that used to run parallel. This is due to there only being a single track built in the first place, but the railway traffic became too much, so then it became a double track. The track on the left is closed, but the right is normally open. Salt crystals have formed in the inside of the tunnel due to water seeping through the concrete. About halfway down the tunnel is a breathing hole that allowed air into the tunnel when the signalman was standing in the alcoves that protected him from the passing trains. Our last attraction along the Brampton Valley Way is the Triangular Meadow, which Northampton County Council try to maintain and keep records of the wildlife and nature, as there are not that many natural grasslands left in Northampton. This meadow is managed by Northampton County Council and many volunteers, which hope to see the Brampton Valley Way open for many more years to come and for it to be developed further. There are many attractions along the Brampton Valley Way. The two local pubs are popular choices, the Windover and the Brampton Holt. They both provide high quality food as well as access to walk around the beautiful pond at the Brampton Holt. There is nearly always something happening at the Pitsford and Brampton station. For example, Santa visits the station at Christmas, as well as trains running almost every weekend. There are many picnic sites along the track where you could have lunch, for example, at the old cottage garden before heading towards Kailmarsh Tunnel. If you want to veer off the track, you could visit Brixworth Country Park or Pitsford Reservoir, where you can enjoy water sports, fishing or just walking. Other attractions off the route are Brixworth Church, which is one of the first churches, so holds plenty of interesting history. As the route is part of the National Cycle Network Route 6, it means that the route is popular with cyclists as well as casual and serious walkers, families and horses in certain sections.